Tonight, prison break.
At 11:30, we had some banging on our window in the front.
A tense night in the Lac du Bonnet area after an inmate escapes from Milner Ridge Correctional Center. What we know about the person at the center of the manhunt and where he was captured. Also tonight, a long time coming.
This day, I didn't know if I was going to be around to see it.
What's in store for some prime real estate in Selkirk, expected to breathe new life into the city's downtown. Plus, calling a foul.
The concerns they were hoping wouldn't happen and were assured wouldn't happen, did happen.
What led to an abrupt cancellation of last night's Seab Bears game that's left the team and fans scratching their heads.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A 14-hour manhunt that left residents in southeastern Manitoba on edge has come to an end. Standing by live with the details is CTV's Milan Lukes. Milan, what can you tell us about this prison break?
Well, Marilee, RCMP say an inmate escaped Milner Ridge Correctional Center in the RM of Lac du Bonnet last night. Now, police say they were notified at 9 p.m. and started looking for him immediately using police dogs and drones. And that search continued throughout the night, rattling residents until he was found this morning. RCMP say Justin Paul, age 44, escaped Milner Ridge, which houses minimum, medium, and maximum security adult male inmates. Court records show he has several outstanding charges, including robbery using a firearm and failure to comply with the conditional release order. Paul was last seen by a corrections officer walking northeast of the jail into a wooded area. He was later arrested at approximately 11 a.m., about 16 kilometers away in Lac du Bonnet, near Highway 11 and Minnewawa Street West. And as part of the search, RCMP also set up roadblocks and checked nearby properties. One resident who lives several kilometers away says he was woken up last night by RCMP officers.
Then at 11:30, we had some banging on our window in the front. So I grabbed my house coat, went to the front, and by the time I got there, there was two RCMP cruisers. They had spotlights and that, and they were speeding out of our driveway, going down the highway and going down to the next yard down the road from us.
Dan Goulet says he didn't know someone had escaped until 11 this morning. He says he would have liked police to send out an alert earlier. Paul has now been charged with escaping lawful custody, and as a reminder, none of his charges have been proven in court.
Milan, do we know how he escaped?
Well, Marilee, not at this time. However, a provincial spokesperson says any time an escape takes place, they conduct an internal review. But it's not clear if the results will be made public.
All right, thanks for this, Milan. An unimaginable tragedy has unfolded on a Northern First Nation. Two toddlers are believed to have drowned in a lake Wednesday afternoon. It happened on Garden Hill First Nation. RCMP say the two boys, aged 1 and 2, were brought to the nursing station after being found in a lake by a family member. Both were pronounced dead. Police believe the boys were able to leave their home and went into the nearby lake. Foul play is not suspected, but an investigation is ongoing. An officer with the Island Lake Detachment says this incident has devastated the community. A new development in Selkirk is being applauded as a step towards revitalization of the city's Main Street. And as CTV's Danton Unger reports, it's been a long time coming.
The sounds of construction ring out on a prime piece of Selkirk real estate that had sat empty for the past 30 years.
1, 2, 3.
On Thursday, Selkirk Mayor Larry Johansson, joined by GS Development Group, announced this land would sit vacant no longer.
This project is another strong example that Selkirk is open for business.
Developer Jay Singh says this build will have 6 commercial units, including a drive-through restaurant. 4 units have already been leased.
Hoping some either doctor's office, insurance, or somebody else will come in. We have a couple of food places coming into this place, which this community haven't had. So there will be a lot more opportunities.
It's welcome news for the mayor, who has been working to revitalize Main Street. He says he's been trying for decades to breathe some life into this lot.
This day, I didn't know if I was going to be around to see it, but I'm so excited that we're here.
To make it happen, Johansson says the city made an agreement letting the developer use and enhance a portion of this back lane to allow for the drive-through.
They're going going to put up a fence for us, la-di-da.
Gail Mugman, who lives next door, isn't happy about that.
Like, what's a fence going to do for 150 feet of vehicles being there paused and making noise?
Well, other residents are just glad to see something finally going up.
Well, it's about time. Obviously, not nice to have an empty lot all these years, nothing being done with it.
The developer hopes to have the project completed by early 2027. Danton Unger, CTV News, Selkirk.
Perhaps best known for its expansive coastline, our trip around the world tonight takes us to the South American country of Chile. CTV's John Hendricks is our tour guide once again tonight. He's live at that pavilion and clearly very busy on stage already. John, hello.
I'm very, very busy, Marilee. I was trying to offer some of my expert dance tutelage to all these dancers here, but it turns out the Carlton, not a traditional Chilean dance. Who knew? I would have sworn that it was, but instead, I will leave it to them. I'm going to stand over here and ask Tanya, who actually knows a little bit more, perhaps, about traditional Chilean dancing. The Carlton, obviously not, it turns out.
Not quite.
But let's see some dances that are, in fact, Chilean. And we can get them going, right?
Yeah, so here we have Compañía Artística de Folklore Internacional, which is coming straight from Santiago, and they're here with us this year at Folklorama 55. Here they are dancing a traditional Rapa Nui dance from the island of Easter Island, and yeah, it's been great having them here, accompanying us on the side, and also learning from them. It's been a great change, and like interchanging.
Now, when I'm watching this dance, I see some elements that appear to be almost like martial arts. Am I wrong?
Like, not quite, but yes, very much like the Hakas from New Zealand or Hokos from where we're from Easter Island. It's about like love and war and creating peace and all those, but lots of strength.
Yeah, you definitely see that, but I'm like, you see that? Like, I see some, it's very athletic, let's put it that way.
Very athletic, yes. By the time we're done, we are tired but still very energized.
You brought these dancers in from Chile, right?
Yes, they are from Santiago, which is the capital city of Chile, and they dance many other dances, not just dances from Rapa Nui, but they also dance cowboy style, they also dance other country dances too.
So I assume that they pick up dance moves relatively quickly.
Yes, they do.
Well, given how quickly they're able to pick up dance moves, Marilee, I'm going to offer once again some of the moves that I have. Not only do I know the Carlton, I also know the Cabbage Patch, I know the Running Man, I know all the dances from the 90s, and I'm going to offer to teach them, so,
What is the Cabbage Patch,
and
John?
I think that they may incorporate that into their traditional Chilean dance moves, and we'll have a brand new fusion of dance. I'm just saying.
If anyone's considering going down to this pavilion, don't worry. John is not one of the performers. Thanks, John.
Well, don't speak so quickly. Don't speak so quickly.
I'm going to go on a limb here, but we'll check back with you in a little bit. Colleen, what is the Cabbage Patch?
I don't know what the Cabbage Patch is, but all I have to say, folks, if John Hendricks did the dance for you, the Carlton dance, it would be show-stopping. I'm promising you. You'll never see anything more entertaining in your life than that.
That is his signature move.
It really is. I can't believe he just did the Running Man. That was great. That was just a taste of what the Carlton could be like if he did that for us, and hopefully we can entice him to do it.
Well, you might want to dance to this forecast. Yes. It's pretty good, right, Colleen?
Pretty good for now. Pretty stable, pretty dry for the most part. A few sprinkles here and there across the southwest, a few showers passing through. There's a lot more where that came from. There is a low pressure system that is going to dump a lot of rain over parts of the province in the next few hours. I will show you where, and yes, Winnipeg will be affected by it. I'll show you when it's expected we could see the first of some rain showers start to move through the city here too. All that to come, but for now, let's take a look through the CTV Live. It is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, it is 24 degrees and cloudy. With the Humidex, it feels like 26. Light winds just 4 kilometers an hour coming from the north-northeast. The pressure's dropping, and the humidity right now, Marilee, is 46%.
Thanks, Colleen. 13. Winnipeg's mayor wants more options available to respond to elected officials facing serious criminal charges. Scott Gillingham says he intends to ask City Council to support lobbying the province to consider changes to the City of Winnipeg charter. Now, that could include new measures to temporarily remove individuals from committees and boards, mandatory remote participation in meetings, and possibly administrative leave, in addition to a review of eligibility rules for candidates facing charges during an election. Gillingham plans to introduce this motion in September so it can be considered by the next council following the election. Although he doesn't mention anyone by name, his announcement comes just days after Transcona councillor Russ Wyatt was slapped with new charges in connection to 2 separate sexual assault investigations. Wyatt has maintained his innocence, and the charges have not yet been tested in court. It was supposed to be a thrilling start to the Canadian Elite Basketball Finals for the Winnipeg Seab Bears. Instead, confusion and condensation on the court made game one tilt in Brampton, Ontario fizzle out. CTV's Joseph Bernacki caught up with the Seab Bears faithful and some league experts to break down this false start.
Damn, watch this. I mean, it looks like he's on skates there.
Winnipeg Seab Bears guard Xavier Moon nearly fell after slipping in the first moments of Game 1 in the Canadian Elite Basketball Finals. That game was called due to court conditions.
No one has experienced anything quite like this.
Joey Slattery was courtside reporting for TSN inside the CAA Centre in Brampton, Ontario, when confusion broke out in the match between the Brampton Honey Badgers and visiting Winnipeg Seab Bears.
We saw a total of 1 minute and 46 seconds of basketball before the game had to be canceled due to moisture and condensation on the floor that just made it entirely too slippery.
Amidst the confusion on a national broadcast, league officials canceled the game in the name of player safety. Slattery says the onus falls on CAA Centre management, home for Honey Badger games and other sporting events. He says an ice surface was placed underneath on Tuesday to set up for an event next week.
The Brampton Honey Badgers had asked for them to hold off for at least 24 hours until this game was done so they can play this game without a hitch. That request was denied. They made the ice, and the concerns they were hoping wouldn't happen and were assured wouldn't happen did happen.
Now, a formerly best-of-3 finals has been reduced to a winner-take-all between the 2 teams at Canada Life Centre on Saturday.
We just got to roll with the punches, and we got to kind of put that to the side and keep the main thing, and that's winning a basketball game on Saturdays.
We had a watch party here last night that started and lasted for 6 minutes. It's been a crazy year, but now we're down to just one.
Seab Bears fan and designer Ogo Okwamabua is hoping for a win Saturday. And in Selkirk, Cameron Flamond is hoping he can make it to that game. Flamond, a diehard fan, lost a bunch of his handmade Seab Bears merch in an electrical fire this week, claiming his garage and truck.
I have an extra ticket. If someone wants to come and pick me up, my wife is heading out of town and she needs the vehicle, so.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
CTV News reached out to the City of Brampton and arena staff for comment. A spokesperson from the city says, in part, the dehumidification unit serving the arena was not a contributing factor to the condensation on the court, nor was the installation of ice below the surface. They say significant rainfall and high humidity outside contributed to the conditions while the facility's doors were open. Today, the Seab Bears announced it's opened the upper deck for Saturday's matchup against the Honey Badgers to create more capacity for fans. Tip-off, by the way, is at 2:30. And speaking of the Seab Bears, Winnipeg police have now charged 3 security guards for an assault on the team's star scorer. The Seab Bears said Teddy Allen was assaulted and sent to hospital on August 3rd after allegedly being attacked by security at a nightclub. Officers were called to a bar in the 400 block of Main Street in the early morning hours after learning the 28-year-old was injured during an altercation. Investigators identified 3 guards aged 35, 37, and 58 who yesterday were charged with assault causing bodily harm. In a statement released by the team, Allen says he is at home, healing, and hopes to return to the game in the fall. He didn't go into details about his injuries or what led to the assault. A park pathway in St. Vital is getting a big makeover. Construction is officially set to begin this month on more than 705 meters of pathway at Brentford Park. The $284,000 project is also set to replace other portions of deteriorated asphalt within the area.
It's a good local project, and it'll certainly help out these people. There's a really unfortunate old concrete asphalt bit over here that no one knows if it was a turnaround or a basketball court or what it was, but that's going to be sodded over. So yeah, this park will look a lot better.
The rebuilt pathway is expected to be ready for use this fall. Well, if you're looking to sign up for some fun activities once the temperatures cool down, the Winnipeg Leisure Guide has got you covered. The city's Fall 2026 and Winter 2027 Leisure Guide is now out. Registration for all fall and winter activities, with the exception of winter swimming and skating, begin Tuesday, August 25th at 8 a.m. There are a number of ways you can register, including at Leisure Online, by calling 311, in person at any city indoor pool during regular hours, and at other locations, including 395 Main Street. Registration for winter swimming and skating begins December 15th. Drivers in South Winnipeg can expect traffic to be a headache this weekend. City crews are paving one of the area's busiest intersections. Northbound St. Anne Road traffic will be directed onto eastbound Abinoshi-Mikina, and southbound St. Anne's Road traffic will be directed onto westbound Abinoshi-Mikina. No left turns or through travel will be allowed for south or northbound traffic. Abinoshi-Mikina, by the way, is going to be down to one lane of through traffic in each direction because of this. Drivers will not be able to make left turns onto St. Anne's Road. These reroutes begin Saturday at 6 a.m. and don't end until Sunday at 6 p.m. So to come tonight, Ontario unveils its plan for future data center development.
We're here to meet the moment.
Who's going to be responsible for electricity costs and what the Premier had to say about those opposed to the projects. That's next. The average Canadian family spent more on taxes last year than basic necessities. The study from the Fraser Institute found the average family spent 42% of their income on taxes. This includes income tax, sales tax, and property tax. That's more than the 36% that was spent on housing, food, and clothing combined. Researchers say taxes have grown more rapidly than any other single expenditure for the average family. Turning to the markets now, crude oil lost $2. The Canadian dollar closed slightly lower. Gold fell $47. The TSX added 97 points. The Dow Jones gained 69 points, while the Nasdaq rose 214 points. The longtime head of the Manitoba Chambers of Commerce is stepping down. Chuck Davidson is leaving his post as president and CEO September 4th. He's held that position for the past 13 years. Board Chair Vince Barletta thanked Davidson for his service, calling him a tireless advocate for Manitoba businesses and communities. Vice President of Policy and Government Relations Elizabeth Safjek will serve as acting president and CEO until a permanent replacement is selected. As Ontario reports rapid growth in data center development, the Ford government is sharing details on what it's calling its playbook for regulating those facilities.
Ontario has everything it takes to be a leader in embracing digital infrastructure expansion. We're here to meet the moment, and with a defined framework, we will be even better positioned to leverage new community investments and create an end-to-end modern innovation economy.
The data center playbook outlines the government's expectation of projects seeking approval. They include pledges to invest in local communities and prioritize storage of Canadians' data on this side of the border. Companies would be required to cover the full costs of any electricity used at an increased rate. And they'd also have to meet standards around water use and noise levels. Premier Ford suggested critics who oppose building new data centers are not being realistic.
I think people have to learn a lot more about data centers. It's ironic if a municipality says, I don't want a data center, but all my businesses need a data center. They need AI. My hospital needs AI. And everyone that lives in that community uses social media, uses computers. It doesn't add up.
Oakville became the first municipality in Ontario to impose a one-year moratorium on building data centers while it reviews potential issues like noise and emission levels, as well as energy supply concerns. Mississauga is set to hold a similar vote next month. New data highlights how dangerous e-scooters and e-bikes can be for children. According to the Canadian Pediatric Surveillance Program, 10 children died from using e-bikes and scooters last year, 6 of them in Ontario. 12 more patients were admitted to ICUs, and 26 were treated in hospital for more than 2 days. In total, 57 severe e-scooter and e-bike injuries in 2025 involved prolonged hospital stays, ICU admissions, or death. Researchers surveyed 800 doctors in the field. The report is one of the first to show the national scale of severe injuries for kids. The minimum age for riders in most provinces is 16, yet almost 80% of cases were reported in children under 16. To the Middle East now, where the International Energy Agency is warning global oil stockpiles are rapidly dwindling. It means higher gas prices around the world. It's been nearly 6 months since the U.S.-Iran war began. Donald Trump insists the U.S. has control over the Strait of Hormuz, but shipping data shows that is not the case. There's growing concern tonight about the mental health of service members aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. The aircraft carrier is now 9 months into a deployment. The carrier has spent a record number of days at sea, and there are reports several sailors have tried to jump overboard. Olivia Rubin reports.
Today, Democrats on Capitol Hill are raising, quote, serious concerns about conditions aboard a U.S. military aircraft carrier. The USS Abraham Lincoln deployed for months as part of the war with Iran.
We had 111 missiles shot a few weeks ago by our lovely friends from Iran. They were aimed at the Abraham Lincoln, which is a beautiful aircraft carrier.
A letter from Democrat Senator Richard Blumenthal seeking answers from Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth regarding reports of deteriorating conditions aboard that carrier, including, quote, shortages of hygiene products, mold, broken toilets or laundry facilities, and inadequate water supplies. The Lincoln departed from San Diego last November for a standard 7-month deployment, according to the letter, but was redirected for the war, which began in February. Concerns have also been growing about the well-being of the 5,000 service members on board. The Military Times reporting sailors are exhausted, and a U.S. official says an investigation is underway after a sailor went overboard last month but was quickly recovered. Democrat Congressman Seth Moulton on CNN calling for an investigation.
It's pretty obvious, though, that these troops are not getting the mental health support that they need. And it's our job in Congress to get to the bottom of that.
A U.S. official says mental health services are available on board, as Hegseth today denies the claims to Newsmax.
Completely misrepresented. Listen, we make sure that every ship, every crew, every captain has everything we can provide them at every single moment.
But a U.S. official now says the Lincoln is set to be replaced by the USS George Washington, part of a long-planned rotation of ships. And the Navy's saying in a statement that the health and wellness of the sailors are a, quote, priority, adding they have not identified an increase in reported suicidal ideation or suicide attempts aboard the ship. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, Washington.
Japan is condemning Russian President Vladimir Putin's visit to the Kuril Islands in the Pacific. The island chain is claimed by both Russia and Japan. There have been decades of diplomatic efforts to negotiate a settlement, but over the years, Moscow has increased its military presence on the islands. Someone in the United States is holding a lottery ticket tonight worth $1 billion. And yes, that is billion with a B. Last night's Powerball draw ended a 3-month stretch without anyone capturing the top prize. The winner can choose $1 billion a year. That doesn't sound right for 29 years. That's a lot of money. I don't know, something's not right here. Or a lump sum payment. They're both good, a lot of money. It's not clear if the lucky person has come forward yet, but we know the ticket was bought at a gas station in Western Illinois. The odds of winning are 1 in 292 million.
Cheers from the Chili Lindo Pavilion. I've got some Bourgogne, and I am having a lot of fun here. I will be right back after this break, and we'll get in the kitchen.
It's getting wild out there with John. Now, showers or outright rainfall expected in Winnipeg by the time we get to Friday night. Will continue at least into Saturday morning. 21 is the high in the afternoon. Brighter and warmer Sunday for the second half of the weekend, 24 degrees. Showers possible Monday, otherwise a mix of sun and cloud, 25. Cooling down again by Tuesday. Both days, Tuesday, Wednesday, nice mix of sun and cloud with highs in the low 20s.
Week 2 of our city's largest ethno-cultural festival continues tonight, and helping us take in the various pavilions is CTV's John Hendricks, who's over at the Chile Lindo Pavilion. John, if there's one thing I know, Chilean wine always makes things more fun, and you're definitely having some fun since you had that glass.
Oh, yes, you could better believe it. And then after I had that little taste of Bourgogne, which is, by the way, delicious, I decided to come into the kitchen and see if I was able to help out here. And I don't know if I'm able to help out all of the staff. It was kind of like the parting of the Red Seas when I came in. However, I'm helping myself out because, boy, I wish that we had smell-o-vision, because the empanadas smell delicious and delightful. These ones are beef, I believe, if the labeling is correct, and hopefully they are. I'm joined now by someone who can help us out and know for sure exactly what they have here. Elena, the head chef, much like Gordon Ramsay, very demanding, insisting on it all being just correct. Tell me a little bit, if you would, about the different types of empanadas that you have, because you guys are known for your empanadas, am I right?
Correct. So we do have 3 types of empanadas. We have beef, we have seafood, and cheese.
Let's talk a little. There's a difference, though, right, between each one, although obviously there's some commonalities. Can you tell me a little bit about how you make them and, you know, the type of care that you take with each and every one?
Right. So the beef contains beef and onions, and cheese is just cheese, and it's very different because it's deep fried. These are baked, the beef, and also the seafood is a seafood medley that we call it, and it's also deep fried.
What is the difference when one is deep fried and the other one is baked? Talk a little bit about the day. I assume the pastry is a little different.
It is a little bit different. Obviously, with the beef, it's a little bit more of a heavier dough. The cheese is very light, and also the seafood. They're very popular, all the empanadas.
Now, this one just came out of the oven. Now, which one is this?
This is beef.
We got more beef.
Yes, it's very popular amongst the people that come and visit our pavilion.
This is obviously a very traditional food as well. So how does it make you feel to be able to share this traditional food with the wider Winnipeg audience?
Oh, absolutely. It's a great opportunity to share our food and our traditions. We obviously grew up with it, so we always think it's delicious, and it's a great time for having empanadas for 6-7 days straight.
6-7 days, 6-7 empanadas, ladies and gentlemen. Elena, thank you so much for taking the time. I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know you have a lot of empanadas to make. So, Marilee, I am going to get out of her hair, let them get all back to work. And like I said, there are an awful lot of empanadas here, and we'll see how many of them are able to make it out for the people here at Folklorama, and how many of them end up coming with me back to the station.
Well, I saw there was a big lineup of people, so I hope they get some, but I also am encouraging you to sneak us a few back to the station. They look good.
One for you, one for Colleen, why not?
I'm holding you to that. Thanks, John.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady is back now with your Skywatch forecast, and temperature's pretty nice. They kind of rebounded this week after some cooler days.
Yeah, we'll see some cooler days to come as well, and particularly if you are in areas that are going to get soaked tomorrow, first in the southwest, temperatures will be a little cooler there. But yeah, overall, it was a nice day here today in Winnipeg. It's still quite sunny right now, but I mentioned these scattered showers crossing the southwest right now. So places like Minnedosa, Neepawa, seeing a few of them skirt along there, a little further to the south too, through Neepawa and Glenboro. Yeah, this is just the prelude to what's to come to the region in the next few hours. I mentioned it's still fairly sunny here in Winnipeg, at least fairly clear. Some clouds over downtown, but it's starting to brighten up a bit for now. To the east, northwestern Ontario, sunny there, but Yeah, this is what's heading our way. There's a low pressure disturbance that's formed over the northern plains states. So we've got all this rain that's already coming up from Montana, Wyoming, over into South Dakota. That's all heading toward southwestern Manitoba in the next few hours. Now, the Futurecast model has this rain starting to creep into the southwest corner overnight. I'll show you that really around 4 or 5 in the morning. That's when the Futurecast has the rain getting in to the southwest. In the northern part of the province today, I should mention, finally, after days and days and days of instability and scattered showers, finally some sunshine there. Clear overnight tonight. Not a lot happening here in the southeast overnight either. Pretty quiet weather-wise. As we go throughout the morning on Friday, that rain is only going to continue to spread to the north and to the east in southwestern Manitoba. Now, the Futurecast, anyway, wants to keep the rain in southwestern Manitoba as late as Friday afternoon. A couple of other models suggesting maybe it might move a little faster towards us here in the southeast. So again, we've got things like the Burt Block Party. We've got the Bomber Game. You might just want to be prepared for the potential for soggy weather if you're heading out to those events. But we'll see how this transpires. The Futurecast, as you can see, it doesn't have the rain getting into Winnipeg in the southeast until overnight. But when it gets here, boy, are we in for a soaking, and into Saturday as well. And that will continue in a scattered fashion throughout much of the day in the southern half of the province. For tonight, for Winnipeg, 14, partly cloudy, winds out of the northeast at 20 kilometers an hour, at least early this evening. Winds will be lighter really for the rest of the night. Light winds for the commute tomorrow, mostly cloudy in the morning. We might catch a bit of sun, but it'll be early. Then we get cloudy quickly. 16 for the commute, up to 23 degrees in the afternoon, cloudy. Still light winds out of the east at 10 kilometers an hour. Outside chance we could see some of those showers start to fall as early as the afternoon, but it looks really like it will be at some point tomorrow night. Speaking of tomorrow, it's Friday. The UV index for the city is 6 or high. Up into the northeast part of the province tonight, we have Churchill and Gillam, just a few clouds, 9 and 11 degrees respectively. Now, the rest of the north, for the most part, partly cloudy tonight, at least to start. Some clearing late tonight, but fog still a possibility, including in Island Lake and Thompson. Thompson drops to 9 tonight, 23 there tomorrow. Churchill, bright and sunny and 17 degrees for your Friday afternoon. Overnight, watch for fog over the northwest part of the province. Overnight lows 10, 11 degrees right around the region. Mix of sun and cloud there tomorrow, highs in the low 20s. In the southwest tonight, cloudy for Nepo and Brandon, down to 14 degrees. You'll see that rain start to move into Brandon tomorrow morning. Not so much the mix of sun and cloud there. And in Winnipeg in the southeast tonight, we'll see rain actually all across the southwest. Those icons a little off the mark. Here in the southeast tonight, partly cloudy, a little clearer to the east of the city. Overnight lows 13, 14 degrees for most areas, including Winnipeg. And then again, yeah, we'll see those. We'll see increasing clouds throughout the morning. Cloudy in the afternoon here before we'll get that rain sometime tomorrow night. And in northwestern Ontario, a few clouds tonight. Overnight lows 11, 12 degrees. Sunny or a mix of sun and cloud there with nice highs in the mid-20s. Our first weather photo is from Desiree. A gorgeous look out onto the Rice River. That is in eastern Manitoba. And the northern lights were bright over Oxford House last night. That photo is from Jolene. That's in northeastern Manitoba. You can send us your weather photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. Traveling more than 3,000 kilometers from Winnipeg to Mexico is quite the journey for anyone, but it is especially difficult when you're a butterfly. Still, monarchs do it every year, and the fuel that powers their trip is milkweed. And as CTV's John Hendricks shows you, one Winnipeg woman has made it her mission to see that they get it.
There's something growing bigger in Choo-Choo Rosenblum's garden. And we're not talking about a flower or vegetable she's planted. It's a monarch butterfly caterpillar.
See, he's moving real quick. He's moving.
And he's not alone.
They can travel surprisingly far.
During the pandemic, Choo-Choo noticed a monarch butterfly had made itself at home on her home.
I found a chrysalis under there. And I spent hours watching this chrysalis become a butterfly. Took photos, videos, whatnot. And I watched it all the way until it finally flew away.
And then that same monarch butterfly she named Queenie came back, and she seemed friendly.
She just let me get all the way like on top of her to take photos, and did it again and again every day. And it went on for a couple of weeks, and then she vanished.
By then, Choo-Choo was hooked and determined to make her front lawn an inviting place for monarchs. So she transformed it into a monarch butterfly way station, planting a smorgasbord of milkweed, a critical food for monarchs.
We're helping the species survive because they're threatened. and they need to have milkweed. If there's no milkweed around, they can't lay their eggs because they lay their eggs on milkweed, and then the caterpillars need to eat milkweed. So it's just very, very important, and it's so easy to do.
So she's hoping more people will do it and help this endangered species to survive. John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Kids who play alone may just prefer to be solo, according to a new study. Researchers out of the University of Georgia found some kids simply prefer their own company. Rachel Fans was the lead author of that study and joins me now to discuss the findings. Rachel, great to speak with you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
You know, I think any parent who's been worried after watching their child play alone at recess is breathing a bit of sigh of relief after hearing this. Are we just overthinking things? What did you learn through this study?
Maybe. So what I learned is that there's different kinds of children who prefer to play alone. There are different reasons that they choose to do so. So there are kids who might be socially anxious. There are kids who might be socially rejected by their peers. And then there's also this subgroup of children who simply prefer to play on their own, but still get along well with others. And that's the specific group of children that I'm talking about.
So how do you know if your child is choosing to play alone and happy doing so? Are there signs that you can tell?
Definitely. I think if they are choosing to play alone, but if they are still engaging in social interaction when they're invited to do so by their peers, and not turning down those invitations, I think that the literature shows that that is a positive sign that for their social, emotional being and adjustment. Also, just lack of any internalizing or like any kind of negative affect or dissatisfaction, things like that. But if they're choosing to play alone with their own time and not having any kind of negative reactions to it, then that seems like no cause for concern.
Yeah, you know, knowing that based on your findings, should we just then let these kids be alone, play by themselves as they are, and, you know, stop encouraging them to maybe join others and be more social?
I think there's kind of a healthy balance, right? We all have this fundamental need to belong. We all need social interaction to a certain point. But so what I found in my study is the kids who choose to play alone but get along well with others, who also find belonging important, were the ones who were okay or better off. So as long as the child has that importance for belonging and finds it important, I think it's fine. But if that child is lacking that and doesn't see the purpose or understanding of that, that's something that could be used to help that child.
Are there things parents or caregivers can do to help our kids feel like they belong, you know, reinforce that?
Yeah, help them feel that they belong. I definitely like finding their like belonging niche. I think that can exist in different environments. It's not just at school, it can be outside. So if they're not finding their belonging, you know, networks or dyadic, you know, just best friends, they can find that outside of school or, you know, in their community or just different places. So I think just helping kids find their people, find their space to belong. And then as long as they have that, then whatever else, you know, if they choose to play alone or do their own thing, sometimes that's okay.
Interesting study. Thanks so much for sharing the findings with us tonight, Rachel. It was great speaking with you.
Thank you so much.
Developing news tonight, the private donation clinic Griffles has just paused plasma collection in Canada months after two people who donated plasma at their Winnipeg clinics died. Health Canada says its investigations found several compliance concerns, which led it to issue a notice of non-compliance rating on Wednesday for Griffles' Taylor Avenue site in Winnipeg. The Federal Health Department says those compliance concerns need to be addressed, and it welcomes the operator's decision to temporarily close its collection sites. In a statement to CTV News, the for-profit company says it is pausing plasma operations because of, quote, unfounded attention, and would use the temporary pause to come up with a framework for future collection services. Griffles said in March it had no reason to believe there was a correlation between the deaths and plasma donation, and around the same time, Health Canada said the two deaths were not connected to the donation itself. Years after the COVID-19 pandemic, a number of Canadians who rolled up their sleeves are still suffering from adverse effects. And now, one Conservative MP is striking an informal inquiry on Parliament Hill to hear their stories. But as CTV's Rachel Aiello reports, there's concern this forum won't be able to provide the kind of accountability some are hoping for.
Like millions of other Canadians, Carrie Sakamoto got vaccinated for COVID-19. But unlike most, after her second shot, she was hospitalized, diagnosed with Bell's palsy, suffering ever since.
I'm not anti-vaccine. I have questions about this one, obviously, because of my experience.
Now she's hoping one MP's unofficial fall inquiry will give her a place to put her story on record.
Our job is to listen.
Conservative Dean Allison is planning to lead 4 days of sworn testimony focused on COVID-19 vaccine injuries. But his initiative isn't sanctioned by the federal government and has no power to prompt accountability. The most this MP is able to offer is that once the hearings end, he may refer questions for Parliament's consideration.
By raising awareness, we're hoping to put pressure on the government.
81% of Canadians have received at least one dose of an authorized COVID-19 vaccine. And as of January 2024, of the more than 58,000 reports of adverse events following these vaccinations, less than 12,000 were considered serious, representing 0.01% of all doses administered.
When you look at the vaccination currently, based on the best data we have, the vaccination still does a reasonable job in reducing the risk of hospitalization and death.
During the pandemic, Ottawa launched a vaccine injury support program. Between 2021 and 2025, 252 claims were approved, paying out more than $21 million in compensation. But claimants like Carrie say the process was mismanaged and mired in red tape.
We need immediate accountability and reform.
After an audit this spring, the Public Health Agency overhauled the program and is still sorting through a backlog of claims. This doctor says a vaccine injury compensation process Canadians can have confidence in is key.
I would call it part of our social contract.
Canada hasn't conducted any formal review of how COVID-19 was handled nationally. This country's chief science advisor and others think the government should reflect on its pandemic response in an evidence-informed way.
We're seeing vaccination hesitancy rise absolutely everywhere.
But Allison isn't planning to include testimony from pro-vaccine voices, prompting critics to question the inquiry's intent.
Anybody who believes they've been affected by taking a vaccine deserves to be heard and deserves compassion and support. The problems with what Mr. Allison is putting forward is that it's based on the premise of an official inquiry, but it's not.
The hearings are happening on the Hill September 8th to 11th. MPs from all parties have been invited to sit in, but so far the inquiry only has the support of Conservatives. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manuke and Coster Denture Clinic. Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Las Vegas headliner Terry Fader.
A new exhibit at the Winnipeg Art Gallery is inviting you to view your own environment with a fresh perspective.
A huge range of contemporary art, historical art, decorative art, paintings, sculptures.
It's called Terra Cognita Incognita, Latin for known land, unknown land. More than 125 works will explore how artists from various backgrounds have imagined and depicted landscapes across the ages. Featured artists include members of the Group of Seven, such as A.Y. Jackson and Lauren Harris, along with other Canadian artists, including painter Emily Carr and photographer Edward Bertinsky.
In a way that has us rethinking how we are looking at the permanent collection. It's an ongoing project that we've had at the WEG for the last few exhibitions, actually. So we're bringing up works that maybe we haven't seen in a long time, actually, that audiences haven't seen in a long time, that have been stored in the vaults.
The exhibit begins with a free opening celebration Wednesday evening. Now, switching gears a bit, for the first time in 3 years, WWE is returning to Winnipeg.
Tony Rhodes runs into the kick by McIntyre. Off the distraction.
The road Road to Survivor Series War Games Tour comes flying from the top rope on October 15th. Expect to see some crowd favorites such as Cody Rhodes, Gunther, and women's U.S. champion Tiffany Stratton. Tickets to the show at Canada Life Centre go on sale not tomorrow, but next Friday through Ticketmaster. Kick off your primetime lineup tonight with The Big Bang Theory at 7. Children Ruin Everything is at 8. And at 9, it's time for Traders Canada. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
And stay with us and experience traditional performances straight from Chile. Our live coverage of Folklorama continues right after the break.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&Teak Spa Salon.
Well, as we look at the almanac, the highest temperature today was 26. I just want to say a word about that rain heading towards us tomorrow, particularly in the southwest, particularly Dauphin. That does not need more rain. 10 to 20 millimeters forecast tomorrow during the day and similar amounts tomorrow night. For tonight, no rain in sight for Winnipeg just yet, a few clouds. Now we'll likely see cloudier conditions on Friday. Rain will arrive by the latest Friday night into Saturday. Sunshine on Sunday. Could see showers Monday, return mix of sun and cloud, and a little cooler through the midweek next week.
All right, we are going back one last time tonight to Folklorama's Chile Lindo Pavilion. Here's a live look at that pavilion on Monroe Avenue. As you can see, the first set of tonight's performances are underway. Join us again tomorrow when we pay a visit to the Korean pavilion. In the meantime, enjoy the performance from Chile. Have a great night.